Are you ready, big dog?
I'm ready.
Did I even tell you what we're doing?
Nope.
Welcome to Kansas QB, a podcast about growing up in rural Kansas, hosted by two former high school quarterbacks. And now, here are your manly hosts, Steve Jewell and Tyler Martin.
Yee-haw!
Ride 'em, cowboy.
Growing up in the cornfields of the Sunflower State, we were inseparable. Brothers from different mothers, who also happen to be sisters. Our moms, not us. Decades later, he's in Iowa, and I'm in Missouri, but we'll always have Kansas, and we'll always be the QB. Howdy, folks, and welcome to the show. I'm Steve, he's Tyler, and today's episode is entitled, Welcome Back, Live. Tyler, we took some time off. Is there anybody still there? Anybody out there? Did anyone even miss us? I know one person who did. Me.
Well, you do know there have been more than a few people that have reached out to us regarding our slight absence from the airwaves, internets, the streaming platforms. People have been asking when we're going to get back on. Now, obviously, it's been such a huge deal that people have just been chomping at the bit. And what do you know? We got to give the people what they want.
Got to give the people what they want. And we want to go ahead and welcome into the show. We've got with us a producer today because we're going big time. So I want to say hello to our, as he says, he's picking his nose. That is my son, Jackson. Producer Jack, say hello to everybody.
Hi.
All right, so there's producer Jack. He's on hand to do all the dirty work to make this show happen. We've got another guest we'll bring on later. Actually, several guests we're going to bring on later, Tyler. But also, we should mention before we get started, our apologies for being a little late on the stream. And for those of you who are at home, we'll mention just in a second how if you're watching us live on the video, awesome, welcome. We're trying to decide if we want to do this again. And as I was trying to fire things up, this version on this computer, it wasn't letting me start the stream. Well, it turns out you have to add a description. My other version of this, you don't have to. So I was like, what's going on? It won't start. Brett Miner commented. John Darrenfield Jr. was like, hey, guys, when are you going to start up? We're here. We're ready to go. And this is our season 2 premiere. It is live, and it is in video format on our Facebook page, but not on the Jewel Media YouTube channel. Sorry, Nathaniel Brown, one of my students who was going to watch it on YouTube. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to make that work. But today we have put together a show that is jam-packed with some awesome guests, games, and segments that you won't want to miss. And if you're already here with us, you won't miss because you're here. We will go long, and my kids will interrupt us at the worst possible moment, though not that kid, because yeah, he's actually engaged right now, right? But the other ones will probably bang on the door at some point. But everyone, again, say hello to producer Jackie. One more chance. Hi, Jack. Say hi again.
Hi.
He's going to be keeping an eye on our social media, but also Tyler is as well. So if you want to comment as we go along, Tyler, part of his job is going to be to let us know that you said hello or commented. We might ask for questions at some point. There might even, Tyler, be an opportunity for one lucky person, first one to respond, to win a t-shirt. Yeah, Kansas QB. Look at that. Look at that. T-shirts. Yeah, Jackie, show him yours. Jackie's got one too. There we go. Yep. So hang in there for that. Also, Jackson at the end is going to tell us if we made any mistakes and correct us. That said, it is time to sit back and relax and enjoy. But don't relax too much because, like I said, we want you to comment and interact with us during the show as it progresses. And also, on a side note, Tyler, there are a lot of buttons for me to hit in the right order and at the right time. And I'm feeling the pressure.
Well, that's fine. That's why we have Jack with us now, so that if he's producing the show at some point, the blame gets passed uphill, and he's kind of uphill.
Absolutely.
Broken news.
As we like to say, if it ain't broken, it ain't news. Breaking news is for tryhards, and we no longer have the stamina for that kind of effort, so we take the stories that have already been broken and share them with the folks at home. Have you heard about this, Tyler? Data on the top 10 podcasts of 2022 came out, and our show didn't make the list.
What? That must be a mistake. I'm looking at it here. Like, who's Joe Rogan?
Like, that's actually a really good question. I don't even know who that is.
I have read the article. I actually went back. A lot of those shows that are in the top 10, obviously, are popular for reasons. We're punching a little bit above our weight class, but I do follow probably 4 of the top 10. There's a few that that true crime stuff I'm not quite there yet with, so but they're pretty good. So anyways.
Yeah, more on that in a second, but the article we're referring to is from the website Buzzsprout, which is the most popular podcast hosting site and also one that we use for our podcast. The article is entitled Podcast Statistics and Data, December 2022. And I am ashamed to say, Tyler, that it was posted January 3rd of 2023.
Whoa. Hey, you're saying this?
I wondered if you're going to say something about that.
This came out less than a month ago. This is almost qualifying as broken news, breaking news, not broken news.
Yeah, it is the broken news segment, and Tyler, as always, you are correct.
Yeah.
But it is relevant to today's topic, so we're going to kind of go with it. So, most popular podcasts of 2022, the top 10. Are you guys ready for this? Top 10 popular podcasts. Number 10, Kansas QB. Just kidding, we're not on there. Number 10, The Office Ladies. And from what I understand, I don't know anything about most of these shows, but that one I think is Angela and Pam from The Office, just talking shop and talking about that. Have you heard this one?
Yeah. So they do one, and then the very similar to that. It's not listed in the top 10, but the 2 guys from Scrub back in the day that have been buddies their entire. They do
Zach
a podcast. Yeah.
Oh man, and
it's good.
Now again, we like to keep this show PG, and sometimes Scrubs wasn't, but the ones that I saw, I did get a giggle out of Zach Braff. Okay, number 9, Dateline NBC, boring. Number 8, Morbid. That doesn't sound like something we want to talk about on this family podcast. Number 7, My Favorite Murder. There's a lot of people into true crime, I think.
There is, and I don't understand how. And I'm going to throw my wife under the bus here. We can't watch a movie if it's a tight camera angle and something scary might be happening soon, or the music gets weird, or goodness, if someone pulls a gun, then we can't watch it. But she can watch Dateline, and she can watch all of these types of true crime stuff, and then go straight to bed. I don't get it.
Whereas you are up all night thinking about if there's somebody outside your home with a knife, right? Oh man, wow, that got real. Number 6, Stuff You Should Know. I used to listen to a podcast, Tyler, things I should have learned in history class, back around the time when Jetson was born, and we were driving down the hospital a lot, and I just needed something to drive back and forth. I love that show, and then they changed hosts, and I didn't like it as much. But I wonder if the Stuff You Should Know is like that. I don't know. I've never listened to it.
It's weird stuff that I shouldn't say weird stuff. It's fairly basic stuff, but it can be important if you've never heard of it. It's kind of like the How to Fix Things podcast, and the one that's on YouTube. That's kind of handy.
Yeah. The next one's the Ben Shapiro Show. I saw Ben Shapiro on one of my favorite theologians is Dr. William Lane Craig, and they had a discussion. Come to find out, he's kind of popular, and a lot of people watch his show. He's in the top 5, so I guess he's a big deal. That's 5. 4, This American Life. Do you know anything about that one?
No, I don't know if that's another news one. It's
culture. Maybe?
I do. It is. I would put it under the culture. It just goes back and forth with some daily, or not daily. It's more of a PBS spin of things where if you watch any PBS or Nova, it's wide ranging, but it focuses on. Yeah.
Number 3, The Daily. I did click on that one because I was going to listen to the top
New
3.
It's New York Times.
Is that okay? That's New York Times.
Yeah.
Number 2, Crime Junkie. Again, a little bit more true crime there. And again, listen, if that's your thing, that's your thing. Go on.
It's a
do
weird
your thing.
But Crime Junkie's kind of weird. So they take a story, or they take a crime that has happened, and then they act like they're telling us like this whole thing isn't scripted out. Like it's not off the cuff like ours is. And it's like, I don't believe that you just interjected, oh, wow, right there.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Occasionally we write on our little script here, oh, wow, and we say it. So I can't throw stones.
Yeah, but.
And then number 1, the Joe Rogan Experience. I tried to find this on Apple, Spotify, because I've obviously heard about it. And I was like, well, what do they do on their show? And on Apple, I couldn't find it. I didn't take the time to look on Spotify. But I guess it must be popular because it's a number 1 podcast.
Yeah, there's a reason that Spotify paid all the money that they did to get him to stay there. And he's, very polarizing. I'll say that. But that's one of the few podcasts that I truly am subscribed to and follow.
So would you say that our podcast is also polarizing, Tyler?
No, I mean everybody
Neither would I.
that listens to it likes us. So
Yeah, really. If you're listening to this show, there's probably a 50-50 chance or higher that you know us and we're friends already. Most popular podcast genres. Let's take a look at that real fast. And guys, if you're thinking, wow, it's 4:19 and they're still in broken news, yeah, this one's going to go long. I expect to still be sitting here at 5 o'clock. So if you're listening to this on the audio only version, which good for you. Glad you're still listening that way. That's actually the way we get our numbers for the show is through that. Hang in there. This one's going to be a long one. But this second with most popular podcast genres. And Tyler, I'm looking at this. We're not even like the kind of podcast that we are. We're not even in the top 10 of these genres, the genre that we technically are, because our genre is considered personal journal because we just talk about our past experiences, right? Bottom of the list here on the top 10 or whatever is finance. You got investigative journalism, self-help, politics, religion and faith, health and fitness, sports, true crime, news, and then the top with 22% of popular podcasts genres is comedy. So Tyler, we don't fit in there anywhere.
I don't know what. Yes, hang on. Comedy, 22%. Check. This is people laugh at us all the time.
Oh,
news.
If you count
news, 21%. We don't do current news, but we have a news segment built into the show. News, check. Sports, it's the QB show. Check. Health and fitness, sometimes. Check. Religion and faith, we know we talk about it. Finance, you've got a finance degree, Steve. Check. Self-help.
Okay. Well, just quick exchange.
Let's not get technical.
I'm still a couple hours away from that. 20 years ago. Yeah.
Self-help is what we do. Politics, that one stuff we kind of try to not be polarizing. True crime and investigative, we just talked some. Where I'm sitting, and I'm adding up these percentages. Sounds like the majority of people that listen to podcasts should be tuning into us.
Because we're all of them. Interesting. Yeah. Well, Tyler, today as we're looking to the new year and the new podcast season, that's what we're doing today. But this show is all about living in the past. So let's take a look back at some of the things that we remember from season 1 of the Kansas QB podcast in our next segment. And if you are sitting at home wondering, when do I get to participate? Well, we gave you a little time to find the show. We got 10. I told someone today, I was like, if we got 10 to 15 people live on Facebook listening along, I'm going to call that a win. So you're going to get a chance to chime in here in just a little bit. But first, Tyler, we have to make our way to our next segment.
The things we remember.
We're getting older. We've already forgotten more than we ever knew, but some memories still cling to our brain parts, like Nancy's hand to Tyler's suspenders when he attempted to escape her and dance his way back into the picture during the filming of one of my favorite home movies. Oh, Tyler, I wanted, by the way, before I continue to this read, I want you to know that I did attempt to get that video just to throw it in right here. And I want you to know that Nancy is on it, and I'm going to have it eventually. And when you least expect it, there will be a video on the page of you dancing your way back into the screen in that Christmas video.
And not just dancing, but guns blazing, shooting my mom with guns as I dance back into the scene because I was mad at her.
One of my
we think it's Will, my son, my youngest, who every time that he comes back to us from being at Nana's house, she goes, well, he's just like you. And apparently Will, at Maddie's basketball game or volleyball game, one of them a couple of weeks ago, he did the same thing. And my mom has now been shot by 2 generations of me.
Air guns, folks, air guns. But yes, this list includes memories from our time growing up in Kansas. Let's see just how well we can remember. In the Broken News segment, we learned that Kansas QB is not widely regarded as a top 10 podcast. Sticking with the theme of podcast and top 10 lists, Tyler, what are the 10 most awesome memories we remember about our first podcast season? Well, let's start with, and these aren't necessarily in order. I don't want our guest that we're about to bring on, I don't want him to think that he's number 10 on a list of top 10. Yeah. So these aren't in order. But how about reconnecting with childhood friends? We've only really done it with one childhood friend, though we have called several of our childhood friends for quotes for the show and things. We've brought on one of our friends, our friend Matt, and Tyler, I was able to catch up with him. and have a little conversation. You weren't able to make it. He
Yeah.
would have come on live today, but he couldn't come on live because he's actually flying on a plane right now. So,
Yeah.
but I did record him earlier. So, do you have something you want to say before we bring Matt on?
No, Matt, this is not in order. I mean, clearly it's not in order. Although
Otherwise-
we seem to be having this on-air beef, so maybe this is in order. Maybe you were the 10th best. You weren't near the top. I don't know.
Well,
but anyways,
What, you haven't even heard this segment yet, so who knows?
Yep.
Let's see if this is the right button. All right, well, here I am with our friend Matt Pally. Matt, how you doing?
Doing great. It's been a while.
That's funny because we just recorded this and I forgot to turn on the function to actually record the audio. So it hasn't been that long, but yes, it has been as far as any of our listeners know. And I wanted to ask you about that because this is the first time I've talked with you in person other than text messages and different things. But about that show, did you have a chance to listen to the episode, Our Friend Matt from season 1?
I did. It was really good. It was really touching. I was excited that Tyler apologized for the injuries he inflicted upon me. But in seriousness, it was an awesome episode to listen to. Maybe my favorite, maybe not. But I hope you guys get back more people to come on your show for those kinds of segments.
As do I, and maybe you can help us with that. Kind of a liaison to our friends for the Eagle has re-landed segment that we haven't given up on. We're just too busy to do after. Plus, we already got you, so it's like, do we really need to get anybody else?
There are more Eagles in the world.
There are more Eagles. So the answer is yes. But we'll get back to that later. In the meantime, you mentioned favorite episode and how you couldn't pick that one because that would make you vain. But did you have a favorite episode from season 1?
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm biased a little bit, but it definitely was the teacher episode. I think that one was super exciting. Obviously, my mom, Mrs. Pally, is a fifth grade teacher. But I just enjoyed it. I was shouting at the podcast when you guys were arguing over who our first grade teacher was. Mrs. Smith. Tyler was right.
Tyler was
wrong.
right. And when I thought about it more later, I was like, well, duh, of course, I remember Mrs. Smith. It was just one of those things that, again, you know how little we prepare for these things. And then it was just like all of a sudden I was just like, what? And I thought of Mrs. Johnson because she was there longer the next year. And so anyway, there's no excuse. But did you remember the stuff we were talking about from your mom's class? Because we talked about the spaceship and the space suit. You remember all that, right?
Oh, absolutely. The spaceship, the spacesuit, running against your brother for the city that what was that called?
Exchange City.
Exchange City. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
I
They
just
had a
went.
bigger class. Otherwise, I think I would have won.
Yeah, I'm a bus driver here at St. Joe Christian. I just drove Jackson's class down to something similar in Kansas City, and he ran for mayor, and he didn't win, but he got to be an accountant, which honestly, with his math skills, fit him perfectly, and he really enjoyed it. So yeah, great memory. But that's not what we're here for. Your favorite episode was the teacher episode. Now I have another question for you, Matt. One more thing. Not that you're a trick pony that has to do tricks for us, here on the show, but we talked a lot about how you were and are an artist and how prized your drawings were and how you painted the mural that was in the hallway. I'm guessing they've probably painted over it, given that it's now Dunphy County. That must have hurt a little bit. But I want to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Matt, would you be willing to do a quick little art project for us?
Always.
Awesome. Well, for the folks that are just doing the audio only, you won't get to enjoy this live, but we promise to put a picture of what, assuming Matt's willing to do it, of what Matt's about to do on our Facebook page, so certainly check that out. But Matt, you have 60 seconds. So first of all, do you have, oh, he's already prepared. I didn't have to ask him. Okay, great. So you've got a tablet, you've got a stylus. Could you draw for us a Midway Eagle?
Absolutely.
It's been 30 years.
Let's do this.
Well,
Let's do
25
this.
years. Yeah, okay, all right, okay. Matt, you have 60 seconds. Ready, set, go. Now, while Matt's doing that, for the folks that are on the video with us right now, we're going to show you a picture that Matt sent to me, and it is disturbing, just warning you. And for those doing audio only on the podcast, you can check the Facebook page out and see this picture. Also, it's a picture. We talked about being at the Pally Lake House in the Ozarks and how much fun we had with Matt in our friend Matt episode. This is a picture from that trip that Matt found. It is disturbing on so many levels. You can see here me in the background with my oversized Paul Pierce Kansas jersey with my eyes closed. I don't even know what look I've got going on right there. You got my big brother Kevin. You can see why I enjoyed having him as the fullback and blocking for me in high school. He made me feel very safe. You could tell that he would be very good at that. Also, there's Matt looking really an awful lot like he still looks. The jean shorts, though, Matt. What is up with the jean shorts? Do you remember jean shorts?
I think I was ahead of the Gen Zs with the jean shorts, so I just cool way before my time.
You've always been cool. That's not a surprise. So yeah, the jean shorts there. But I want to focus everyone's attention on Tyler. I mean, look at this look that Tyler has going on. Not only is he in the white tank top we used to call the wife beater, which is not appropriate. But also, yes, you get it. Your dog, Matt, is agreeing with me that Tyler looks crazy here in a good way. Look at the sunglasses. I like how the hair's kind of cut, almost chili ball there in the front with the bangs. But I mean, that look right there says it all. I mean, that he is one bad memo jamma, I think. So, Matt, we've distracted with the picture long enough. You have about 5 more seconds. Are you ready? Are you ready to display your art to the world?
Ready.
He's ready. Okay, all right. What did you have for us in 60 seconds? The Midway Eagle, go, Matt. Oh! See, that's what I'm talking about! That's what I'm talking about! I told you he was an artist. Woo! Well done, Matt.
School colors, too.
School colors. Like, almost like you knew I was going to ask. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a surprise. Before today, he had no idea I was going to ask him to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for being here with us on this segment, but mostly we want to thank our friend Matt for participating, and also your dog. What's the dog's name?
Herbie.
Herbie. Oh, we want to thank Herbie. Wait, did you name your Carmen Gia Herbie or something? Why does that ring a bell? Did you have...
I mean, Herbie the Love Bug, Volkswagen Carmen Gia, it relates, but...
It's adjacent, yeah, not the same. All right, well, thank you, Matt, for joining us. We look forward to having you back on later episodes if you're willing.
Absolutely. You've always got a friend in Matt.
I love it. You can make a song about that. All right, buddy. We'll see you later. How about that, Tyler? How about that picture from the Ozarks? You were looking good, buddy. I mean, I wasn't looking good, but I was in the background. You were in the front, leaning on that sign, giving everybody the cool look. I mean, can you explain yourself in that picture?
Still family friendly in here, so probably no. That was awful. Like, what were we thinking? I mean, I truly blame our parents for thinking, hey, let these kids be themselves.
Yeah.
Let them no, you guys look awful. Change.
Yeah, let that be a lesson to all of you parents watching this at home. Never let your kids be themselves at that age because they don't know what the heck they're doing. So very good. That was one thing, reconnecting with old childhood friends. Also, developing relationships. Here's item number 2 from season 1 that we enjoyed, was developing relationships with new friends, with some new friends. We had some people that joined in, some people that we haven't talked to in a long time, some people that we knew growing up but haven't, again, talked to in a long time, other people that we've known but for some reason have enjoyed the podcast, and just some names that come to mind. And I didn't get an exhaustive list, so I'd like to apologize if you've been commenting a lot, and I'm not mentioning you right now, but Jeremy Blanton. I mean, that's kind of like our current connection to Bendina, Kansas, is Jeremy Blanton. John Darenfeld Jr., he's up in the great north.
Yeah, John's been commenting all throughout this show right here, and I don't know if he was being serious, probably being serious right now. Wow, Tyler still has the cool look, and I had to correct him. I said, no, I had to put a hat on for this because I have a very big glare without hair in this area anymore.
Oh, no. So, no, John will listen to our St. Joe Christian Sports broadcast, and he'll get on. And when he gives you a compliment, he means it because he's just that kind of person. So, John, he actually mentioned on there, I don't know if folks saw that, but folks are listening audio only, but John actually went home from work early, and he's right now with his wife watching this on a date. Now, in the Great North, where John is from, maybe there's just not that many options. I don't know. I've been up there. It seems like they have all the same entertainment options up there that we have down here. But whatever the reason is, thanks, John. Always commenting, super fan. Also, Brett Miner. And I've got a picture I was going to have up and show of Brett because I have some photos that I'll be posting later on. And one of them's of our junior high football team. And there's Brett. He's, but he's been posting lately. Very tough, very, very good football player. Also, Carmen Van Houten, who actually had my dad and my mom. My mom coached her like junior high basketball team when she was at Midway. I didn't know Carmen existed until we started interacting. She's been a great fan. And there have been others. Thank you to all of you that have been involved and a part of the show. Also, I want to mention those who have actually reviewed the show on a podcasting platform like Spotify or Apple Podcast. The first to do it was Darth Ted. As a matter of fact, we have Darth Ted with us. Darth Ted, are you? Yeah, I see him right there. Okay, let's bring in Darth Ted. This is the man, the myth, the legend. Darth Ted, right down there. We got producer Jack in the right-hand corner. We got Darth Ted down there left. That's Mike Hubble. He's here because we're going to bring him on for one of the very last segments. He is going to go head-to-head with a mystery guest in a trivia game about the podcast. And if he wins, Tyler, wait for it, he's going to win a Kansas QB T-shirt, like what we already have. Nice. Yeah, not yours, Jackson. Yours probably won't fit. Darth Ted is a man. Mike, good to have you along. Thanks for following the show, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, you bet.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great, buddy. We're going to let you go back to sleep, and we're going to come get you here in a little bit. There's producer Jack. He's still engaged and involved. Jack, you doing a lot of producing over there, Jack? I turned his mic off, so we'll never know. All right. So, again, all you guys, also Jeremy Benson. Darth Ted was the first one to write a review for us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you. Jeremy Benson also wrote one. Also, AJ Martin, your cousin, wrote one. And then we have another like 30-some people that have rated the show. And we appreciate all of you. If you could, rate, review the show, we'd appreciate it.
AJ writes me a friendly review after every show, pretty much. We can't post those ones.
Okay, good. All right, AJ. Keep it classy, AJ. All right, so at this point, Tyler, let's do you want to give away a T-shirt?
I do. I would like to do that.
All right, so folks, I got a bag of T-shirts right here. We're only going to give away one right now. The reason I have a bag of T-shirts is so that whoever wins, I have your size already. But over time, we'll find reasons to give away more T-shirts. But right now, for the folks we have on and who have stuck with us this long, we are, 20 minutes in here? 25 minutes in? And you're still with us? We're going to give you a T-shirt. Now, if you listen to the podcast on Spotify,
minutes.
How many?
28.
28. Wow. If you're listening on the audio only, sorry, we're going to figure out a way to have you win a T-shirt also. But right now, with just the folks that we have online, here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask you a question, and the first person to type in the correct answer gets the T-shirt. And if this question's too hard and you don't know the answer, then we'll make other questions up. But is everyone ready? Are we ready? Tyler, are we ready?
Yep. That's it. Fair warning. Here we go. Get your fingers ready, folks.
Get your fingers ready. Jackson, are we ready? Producer Jack, we ready? Yeah. Okay, we're ready. I still have his mic off. But yeah, we're ready. Okay, all right, here's the question. And everybody has different speed of internets. We're gonna ask the question. Tyler, it's gonna be your job to pick the winner. We will go on, and you just interrupt me whenever we have a winner, if we have a winner.
It's not gonna take long, I tell you that.
And if nobody knows the answer, then just nobody gets a T-shirt, and I get another one. So, all right, here we go. Here's the question. What's the name of the resort near Sabetha, Kansas, that had the infamous red metal volcano hole in their mini golf course? And if you don't know the answer and you don't know how to find the answer, just go back and listen to episode 1. Episode 1 of season 1. It's in there. But we're going to continue on. Tyler, keep an eye on that for us. Yep. Another thing that I loved about season 1 was calling Nancy without any warning. Your mom. How fun was that?
Yeah, I think we had a lot more fun with it than she did. Oh, we have our first winner. Ben Gilmore.
Ben Gilmore
hits it. Sycamore Springs. And I would guess that maybe Ben's been there before. I know Carmen's been there. I bet Brett's been there. I think we've been there when Carmen was a little older. But yeah. Yes, Ben Gilmore, congratulations. Sycamore Springs is the answer.
Ben, just type in there what your shirt size is. The nice thing about Ben winning is he's a Bendina guy. I could probably find a way to get him this T-shirt without actually having to mail it.
We don't have to put it in the mail.
Yeah, I just have to pay tax. That's all. All right, Ben, attaboy. Well done, Ben. Moving on, calling Nancy without warning. Tyler, you remember that one time when we called your mom in the middle of the night And at the end of a nice little conversation, she said how she had a great son and a great nephew. And then she held it, paused for a little bit. She said, "Oh, and a great daughter too." Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that. That was real bad on your part.
We need to, yeah, you were going to say the same thing. You need to work it from your side, Tyler, over there in Iowa, to make sure that she is, if we call her in the future, she'll take our call, because I've had a lot of fun calling Nancy. So that's one there. Next one, checking episode download stats. You're not able to do this because I haven't added you on there as an admin, which I could at any time. Just you've been busy. Humans, what I do is after these podcasts, I wait a while. And I'm addicted to clicking and seeing how many downloads each one got. Not that, for vanity, that we need to make sure we have a certain number in order for me to feel like a man, but more to see which ones people seem to listen to more. And so we're gonna kind of go down through the list here, Tyler. You want to hear? Have you seen these stats before I put them on the sheet?
Yeah.
Oh, you had seen them. Okay. All right. So So our top 5 actually rearranged, top 5 episodes of 2022 actually rearranged only yesterday. So yesterday I had to update it because our last episode that we recorded, the Dogs and Cats episode, just kept growing. And I think it was because we talked to some people about, hey, yeah, we're starting season 2. And so people just would hit it, and that was the most recent one. So that one grew, and it shot all the way up into the top 3. So we'll get to that in a second. Top 5. Just edging out the Marks of Midway episode, part 2, was Small Town Big Business with 94 downloads. And when it came out, it was in the top 50% of all podcasts in the entire world. And I think it's because people wanted to remember Weiland's and Ruth Weiland's and the store and all of their memories. I think they enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was anytime that we talked early on about our real childhood, especially initially kind of why we named the Kansas QB podcast. We thought we were going to maybe do a little bit more with the sports and a way to honor some people from back there. But those are my favorites, the ones that we talk about that stuff. I'll probably actually agree with Matt, our friend Matt. The teacher one was really cool because of all the time that we spent in the school before and after school.
Right. And of course, it's one of those that if you didn't go to Midway, it won't be probably your top favorite, but we
not as cool.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah,
absolutely. So the next one was the food that made us. This is the one that started the Beer Rocks controversy. More on that later.
Controversy.
Excellent. I just got a text from my wife saying we have no internet at home, and that's probably why she's not watching the podcast. I think that's her excuse right now. There it is. Number 3, and the food that made us had 103 downloads. Number 3, 106 downloads. And again, folks, you feel like 106? Well, first of all, if only 106 people actually listen to these, I would be thrilled. I was hoping for maybe 25 to 30 people while we just remembered, went down memory lane. But they say that in podcasting, getting over 100 downloads is actually really good because of the investment, because these things are so long form. So if you actually stick around to the end and actually download it, it's not like views on YouTube where you can jump in and out. So we're happy with this. We're very happy. 106 is a Dogs and Cats episode where we found out your childhood dog and my childhood dog. Hopefully Mike knows the answer to that one, because that's going to be something that's going to be asked later.
Yeah.
And then number 2, another top 50% episode, the Marks of Midway Part 1, when we first brought our dads on and talked Midway football with them. That had 129 downloads. Again, top 50% in the United States of America. That one was kind of special, don't you think, Tyler?
Yeah, that was you really surprised me with the interviews that you really surprised me, period, with the episode and us doing it. But talking to Dad and the way that I didn't know that you'd interviewed him. That was cool. It's always cool to hear him on things. And when it's kind of one of those, like, he's forgotten so much football, so much more football than I'll ever know. And when he just goes back in his memory bank to bring up anything, it's special for me.
Absolutely. So, and then our number 1 episode, of course, was our first one. Not only did we share it with all of our friends, I also posted it in the Bendina Happenings community group, and that really helped it too. And we sent it out everyone we could think of, just say, hey, this might prove that for some people, podcast isn't for them, but people listen to it, they download it. 398 downloads. This was the top 25% of all podcasts in the entire world, popularity-wise, was Tyler Finds Out About the Podcast, which was the first episode. 398. If you are on Facebook and you find this that way, and you have not downloaded, or if you have downloaded the show on Spotify but not Apple Podcasts, could we have 2 people just go and download it so I can say that our first episode had 400 downloads? I would appreciate it if you guys could do that. But Tyler finds out about the podcast. What I remember about that most fondly was the fact that you had no idea that we were going to do a podcast, and I just called you, and you didn't have a script or anything, and you just went with it. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Well, that's kind of been how we've done. Well, we've had scripts, but I haven't had it pulled up here for a while with the split screen with us. I'm going back and forth. But yeah, I really, really thought we were getting into a daily devotional. Like, I thought that's what we were going to do.
As soon as you said that, I was convicted. Like, well, shoot, that's what we should have done if he was open to it. We still could. All right. Now for the top cities, Tyler. These are where we get most of our downloaders from. And actually, the Dogs and Cats episode, there's like 10 people from Germany. So hello to Germany. Thank you for watching.
Todd Miller says hi, Steve.
Oh, Todd, that's my man.
Todd Miller. Yeah.
I told Todd, I said, hey, I'm going to go record this podcast. You better get on and say hi. So there he is. Hey, Todd. What's up, buddy? Top cities watching the show from 2022. There's a tie for 5th place, and that is Overland Park, Kansas, so the Kansas City area, with 3% of our downloads. And these are all really spread out. We got a humongous mix of where people are listening from. Tied with Bendina, so our hometown that we talk so much about, tied for 5th place with the most downloads from that area. 3rd place, which was this close to being tied, it had 1 extra download above Bendina and Overland Park, is Maryville, Missouri, your old stopping grounds. So apparently you've left some people behind that enjoy hearing about me make fun of you.
They probably want to hear more about Steph and my family. They're coming from Maryville. But yeah.
Probably. So there's Maryville. And number 2, you want to guess, Tyler? If you didn't know, you should be able to guess it, right? I mean, it's got to be. It's part of the school name, brah. Yeah, Midway, Denton,
Kansas.
Denton, Kansas. We see you, Charlotte McElroy and friends. 6% of all downloads of the show come from Denton, Kansas. And the number 1 place that these are downloaded to, ironically, not even Kansas, St. Joseph, Missouri. Not ironically, I live in St. Joe, and so the people I see all the time are like, "Hey, check out our podcast." And so St. Joseph, Missouri, that's 21% of our viewership, and those that download St. Joseph, Missouri. So thank you to all of the various townships, cities, and whatnot for your support. And again, if you're like, guys, you're at 40 minutes and you're still talking, hang in there. This is a long episode. You're gonna have to deal with it. The next thing you kind of mentioned, Tyler, you were surprised a couple times. That's one of my favorite things about this show is because I put the stuff together. Half the time you have no idea if I want to add something in. So I love surprising you when I can and have time. We did it more earlier on. But the first episode when I surprised you with the podcast at all, you mentioned the interview with your dad at the end. You said, "Oh, that was a good surprise." Yeah, that one got me. Yeah, with your manly football voice, that was good one. Also, when we did the Matt interview and he was addressing and some concerns he had with your moral character, that was a good one. I enjoyed watching your face during that one, laughing while he was coming up with these ridiculous things, like trying to steal his tackles, because we couldn't think of anything major. And then finally, no win situation. Remember one time when you'd been up for
music player? It was like up for like 36 of the previous 48 hours or something silly, and then I'm getting questions that nobody could get right, period. This is fun. Hey, there's more.
Yeah, we've been going for like 25 minutes. I was like, we can call it quits. Don't you think, Todd? And Todd's like, yeah, I just had. And I'm like, no, we got to start this game show. That was fun one for me. Another thing, Tyler, would be on our top 10 things from 2022. Older siblings children's segments. And we're gonna bring to you the latest installment of one of those.
I see what you did there. Older siblings, plural. Children, plural. Segment. We have a
surprise new segment. Yeah, we have a surprise new segment. My older brother, his daughter has a segment. Could it be that your older sister has a daughter
or son?
Yeah, could go either way.
She could go. Okay, but focusing on your brother's daughter, eldest Sheridan, that was probably my favorite part of season 1. Was her segments.
She's so great, and you're gonna say this in the video. We had to record her earlier, and as you watch this, when Tyler says that live, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look at her face. Tyler, you probably didn't see her face when you were recording it, but the look on her face when you mentioned that was your favorite segment, oh, it's priceless. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it's 60 Seconds with Sheridan, which we recorded yesterday before I lost my voice. Here it is. I think. I'm not sure which button to hit. It could go either way. All right. Now here I am with, yes.
60 Seconds with Sheridan.
All right. I'm here with Sheridan and, of course, Tyler. Excited for 60 Seconds with Sheridan, the first one of season 2. Tyler, you're clearly very excited. I mean, look at you. You like ran out to your vehicle to make sure you wouldn't miss it.
That's exactly right. You cannot contain the level of excitement that I have for my favorite segment of the show from season 1. So, Sheridan, without further ado, your 60 seconds starts now.
Since Kansas QB is celebrating its 2nd season, I would like to talk about sequels. Some are amazing, like Sonic 2, but some, well, are not. Season 2 of Kansas QB will be amazing, no doubt. Do you remember those weird Disney sequels like Lion King 2, Return of Jafar, The Little Mermaid 2, Cinderella 2 and 3, and so on? They will never be as good as Season 2 of Kansas QB, ever. Sequels can also be terrific, like Lion King 1.5. If you've seen that movie, you know what I mean. Man, that movie is the best. I bet Uncle Steve and Uncle Cousin Tyler will be amazing and hilarious too. Maybe they'll start singing Hakuna Matata. Who knows? All I know is that they will do amazing. Thank you.
I think she's got it, Tyler. So you would say, Sheridan, that we're going to be more like Frozen 2 and less like Little Mermaid 2, is what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah.
Because Frozen 2 was awesome.
Yeah, it was. The songs were amazing.
Oh, so good. Ah, Tyler and I both have colds. Tyler, anything you want to say to Sheridan before we let her go? Tyler's frozen with a stank face. He's frozen with a stank face. All right, Sheridan, thanks. We'll see you later, girl.
Bye.
All right, so first of all, did you see her face? She's like,
Yeah, that was
that was
good.
cute, wasn't it? But I do need to bring our producer Jack in here for a moment. Producer Jack, would you agree with her assessment that Sonic 2 was in fact a good sequel?
Yeah.
I thought you would think that. He loves Sonic. All right, get out of here. All right, very good. But Tyler, as we mentioned, we can't play favorites. We can't allow my older brother to have a child with a segment and not also extend the same courtesy to your older sister. So we have one here. Brand new segment, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to get dark. It's going to get moody. We've got a teenager out here on the loose.
Like Hallie's hang-up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Hallie. And in between that last segment and this segment, I coached a basketball practice, and that's why I can't talk. And I don't think that's what Hallie's hung up on, but we're going to find out in a moment what it is that she's hung up on. But first, Hallie, how did you become a part of the show?
Well, we went to Thanksgiving, and I was very angry that I have broadcasted on social media. I have put your name out there through various larger platforms. Well, one.
There's larger platforms?
Yeah, the Bible is Funny is quite a bit large. Just a little bit.
Okay. All right, okay, fine. I'll give you that. Keep going.
Okay. I ambushed him at Thanksgiving, and I said, why have I not been invited onto this podcast? And so here I am.
And it turns out that I'm scared of teenagers because I don't understand you guys, even though I'm a junior high teacher and I actually really like teenagers. But you frightened me, and here you are, ready to deliver your first segment. Hallie, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Hallie, what's got you hung up?
Pickles have me hung up. Why? Because who put a cucumber in vinegar and just let it sit and then decided, oh, I'm going to come back to this vegetable that has been sitting in vinegar. Have you ever smelled vinegar? It's disgusting. And I'm just going to decide to eat it. Like, that's disturbing. So just the invention of it as a whole. And then also it doesn't taste good. So, you had like multiple dry runs of how to make pickles. So people had to add spices and things. That means there were trials that tasted really, really bad. So just what possessed people, and penicillin too, while we're on that. Like, who just decided to leave mold and then come back and adjust it as medicine? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So, pickles have me hung up.
All right, pickles and penicillin. I mean, if I would have picked something, that to get hung up on myself, I probably would have picked those. So well done. Now, Hallie, I know that you being a moody teenager, you live your own separate, like, teenage life, something that an old guy like me doesn't understand all that much. But tell me more about yourself. Tell me more about your life, Hallie. What's like, oh, she's gone. Okay, did she hang up? Did Hallie hang up? I think Hallie hung up. All right, well, that's enough of that. Pickles and penicillin.
I'm sorry, Sheridan. I've got a new favorite segment. That made no sense.
Yeah, well, if you just listened to that or watched it, basically what happened, we were supposed to record last night at 6:30 after my practice. And I'm sitting here waiting for Hallie to get on and contact me. I call your sister. I text Hallie. A half hour later, she says, sorry, I forgot. I said, okay, that's fine. As long as you got it all planned out. She's like, I got an idea. She just kind of pulled that out just of nowhere. So I don't know. That I'm excited. I thought she's actually really funny. I make fun of her for being a teenager and being dark and moody, but she is very funny and very positive and just a fun human being to be around. So Sheridan, I want you to know that though Hallie is Tyler's new favorite, you're still my favorite. So there's that. She's
tied for my favorite, Sheridan. I have two favorites now.
Well, in that case, I do too. I do too.
Okay.
All right, so we're getting toward the ends of our list here, folks. Just hang in there. We're almost there. The next thing, my favorite thing from 2022 was learning to appreciate beer rocks. You remember the beer rock kerfuffle?
That lasted far too long, and by that lasted far too long is us not liking them.
Yeah.
We're almost 40.
Yeah,
we're grown men. We should
try beer rocks
that behind us a long time ago. Yeah.
Especially if we're going to do a Kansas podcast. So there's that.
Exactly.
Another thing, like I said, we got just a couple more things here. Learning new things about old stories. Now, I don't know if you have any of these, but a couple of my favorites were finding out your dad's memory about you peeing on the field as a child at the All-Star game. That made me giggle, and I'll bring that up as often as possible. So that was funny.
That's fine. That's fair. That's fair.
Jackson, would you say that that's pretty funny, him peeing on the football field?
Yes.
Yes, that's right up his. He loves that kind of humor. Very good. Also, finding out this one a little more serious, that you almost died in the snow.
Yeah, that one. I don't like to share that one too often. That's why I'm claustrophobic to this day.
Yeah. So I picked as a favorite just because of the healing that was able to come from you sharing that. Yeah. The healing.
Very cathartic, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Did you have any in mind with that, or is that a good list for you too?
I mean, it seems like every time we tell stories, someone, especially if it's more than just us, there'll be a tweak to it or added to it. And sometimes I don't know if we just are misremembering and combining stories, but yeah, those two. Yeah, I don't need to add any. Like, these lists seem to always be. I guess it'd only be self-deprecating if I put them up there, but when you put them up there, it kind of seems like you're mean.
Yeah, I know. All right, next, top 10 lists. We did a bunch of top 10 lists. We did 90s music, 90s movies, and some of these were top 10, some were top 50, some were top 5. 90s TV shows. My favorite, though, was the board games. We got a chance to talk about board games, and, of course, our favorite, Tornado Rex. That didn't make the top of the list, the article we were talking about, but it's the top of our list.
Yeah, and it was ready to come down to Christmas until Christmas kind of got canceled this year. Yeah, unfortunately.
We're going to have to make that up because we need our Tornado Rex time.
Right.
So we got two more things. Hopefully Mike's still on the line and doesn't have to go to work or anything because you're next, Mike. Hang in there, buddy. You're next. second to last one, or this actually the last one, making plans that will most likely never be enacted. Two notable things that happened in 2022 was one, we made plans to do the following two things. Mini golf at Sycamore Springs, Ben Gilmore, right? And then attend church at Church of the Lord Jesus Christ in Horton, Kansas, because we did that as kids, and we always talked about, well, we should go back sometimes, see all the old people. So, not that they're old now.
And it's, I think we could do them at the same time. Like we can go to church and then swing back up to Sabetha area with the family and hit
All
that
right.
up.
All right, let's get a date. What do you got? Summertime?
Sometime, yeah, it's got to be sometime in the summertime.
Second week of June. Second Sunday in June.
I sure, but write it in pencil because we may be doing camp that day.
Okay, all right. Third weekend in June. We're going to write that. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll report back on it after we do it. Also, we had 2 2022 stamps of approval, and I think we need to add our first stamp of approval for 2023, and that would be John Darefeld Jr. Now he works for himself, but skipping work to watch our podcast. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, that gets a Kansas QB stamp of approval. Stamp of approval. We still don't have that down.
Anytime that you put other plans on hold to be with us, we'll stamp you.
Boom. So the stamp of approval, John Darefeld Jr. Our 2022 stamps of approval, the show Bluey, which I'll rep that one till I die. And then snow football. Jeff was talking about snow football, and so we Jeff Driscoll, I think. We will always approve of snow football. There's a toughness that goes with snow and football. You put them together, you got something really tough.
You put football in the name of it right now, we're probably giving you our approval.
For sure.
Right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've made it this far with us. We've been going for a long, long time. Hey, listen, we budgeted an hour for this, so we're still on time. It's the season 2 premiere, right? It's time for us for some super fan trivia. We're going to bring in Mike Hubble, Darth Ted himself. Let's bring it on the show right now. You got Darth Ted, Mike Hubble in the bottom left-hand corner. If you're wondering who left that glowing review about our podcast on Apple Podcasts, it was that man right there. Also, we got producer Jack here in the screen because we had to have him because it's a 4 screen and he's the other camera. Are you ready to find out who your opponent is, Mike Hubble?
Sure. Yeah,
all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now.
Tyler, good to see you too.
Yeah.
See you too, bud.
You guys talked on the phone once. Yeah. True story.
We did. I've never seen him in person. Just heard his voice here for 25 episodes. So,
as you can tell, he's a good-looking man.
Like they say, I've got the face for radio.
Absolutely, and TV. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and bring in our scoreboard here to keep track of points, ladies and gentlemen. It's Darth Ted versus producer Jack. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make the trivia begin. Now, there's a little rivalry here. Of course, Mike Hubble helped coach a baseball team that Jackson played on. So Jackson might be wanting some revenge for all the times that Coach Hubble didn't put him in the game. I don't know. We're going to find out. Not that he ever didn't put him in the game. But here we go.
Maybe a few times.
Here's how the game works. And I should have queued up some cool music for this, but I ran out of time. All right. Here's how the game works. I ask a question, and the two of you have to try and get the right answer. The first person to say yeehaw gets to answer. All right? And if you get the yeehaw, we will identify you as the person that gets the answer. If you get it right, you get a point. Are we ready?
Yes.
Jackson, are you ready? Mm-hmm. All right, producer Jack versus Darth Ted. Here we go. Question number 1. Steve's favorite Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan movie from the Shows We Watched episode. What is it?
Yeehaw.
Go ahead, Jack.
The mail's here.
The mail.
What? It's something like that.
Can I
For the steal?
No, we're going to give it to him. We're going to give it to him.
The mail's here.
Listen, I added that one to the show, to the question, because I was afraid that producer Jack was going to get blown up. And we just listened to that episode on the way here, and I wondered if he was going to remember it. It's You've Got Mail, but the mail's here. That's pretty much the same thing. All right, so here we go. Producer Jack, 1 point. Very good. Should have had a sound effect to go with that. All right, here we go. Question number 2. What was the name of our club? This is a tough one. I don't know if anybody's going to get this one. That we mentioned offhand during a show. Actually, it was the shows that we watch. We talked about the Buttercream Gang and how that inspired a club of Tyler, Kevin, Becky, and I from Bendina. Does anybody know this one? Actually, Tyler, don't tell Darth Ted or producer Jack. We put this question in here just to make sure that there's no like creepy stalking going on. Because if you know the answer to this one, you might be.
This would have been difficult. I believe because we said that we talked about it and then we said we'll get back to this later. We never got back to it.
We haven't yet, but we will. It's actually on my plan for 2023. It was the Bendina Bears. Okay, I'm glad you didn't get that one. Question number 3. Producer Jack's up 1, Darth Ted 0. And folks, remember, if producer Jack, he already gets a t-shirt because he's my son. Right? If he wins, he's preventing his old ball coach from getting a t-shirt. So that's how this is going to work. All right, here we go. Question number 3. What's the name, or I gave this one. Number 3. What was the name of either Steve or Tyler's childhood dog?
Yeehaw!
All right, Darth Ted.
If I remember, Chip.
Chip, what do you think, producer Jack? Is that right? Did he get it right?
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't get that one. All right, Darth Ted evens it up 1-1. Chip, Sparky, Jewel, well done. Question number 4. Here we go. It's 1-1. We got us a close one here. In the Legos vs. Playmobiles episode, which of us had which toy growing up?
Yeehaw.
Jackson.
You had Legos and Tyler had Playmobiles.
Correct, ladies and gentlemen. I think that applause, for that one. Well done. All right,
Good job,
2-1. Producer Jack's up.
You better get that one, Jack. The Legos are still at your house.
Yeah, we listened to that one also yesterday on the way home. And on the way home, listen to that. The girls, when we start talking about Freddie the Shark and George the Monkey, they're like, wait, we have those in our room. I was like, yeah, those are mine. All right, next question. Here we go. What is, in our opinion, Tyler and I's opinion, the greatest video game of all time?
Yeehaw!
Darth Ted.
I stole it from you, Jack. It's got to be Tecmo Bowl.
Would you like?
I'll allow it.
You'll allow,
I'll allow
okay,
it.
it's Tecmo Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yes, but we'll give it to you. All right, point for Darth Ted. Here we go. It's 2-2. This coming right down the wire, Tyler. I don't even know what's going to happen here. All right, next one. In the music episode, what song was mentioned most often as the song that mattered the most to the 4 cousins? There was one song that got mentioned over and over again as the most influential song. We'll give you a hint. It was by the band DC Talk. Their most famous song of all time. All right, Darth Ted.
I should have remembered this. Kathy, my wife, she's a huge DC Talk fan. Jesus Freak.
Jesus Freak, correct. Actually, Kathy Albo, your wife, bumped into Michael Tate at the AMC down here in Kansas City, didn't she?
She did, yeah. That's right. Got a photo with him and everything.
You got to love it. All right. Next question. We got 2 left here. So this is Darth Ted's taking a commanding lead here, 3-2. In order to be Steve's friend, that's me, you have to be able to complete this quote. Complete it for me. Fezzik, are there rocks ahead?
Yeehaw.
Go ahead, Jack.
If there are, we'll all be dead.
Yeah, that a boy, Princess Bride. Well done, son. Nailed it. All right, 3-3. Coming into our last question. Oh man, I'm getting nervous here. All right, here we go. Last question. Before ever getting into athletics, what did Tyler most want to be?
Yeehaw.
Oh, producer Jack?
Cowboy.
Cowboy! Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner! Producer Jack, let him have it.
Yeah, very nice.
All right, of course I was joking. Mike, we're going to get you that t-shirt because I know you wanted one so bad. But thanks for joining the show. Thanks for being a supporter.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike, actually, he sometimes will text me after the shows to get his opinions in on the stuff that we talked about. So he's invested. We appreciate you. Everybody, Darth Ted. One more round of applause. There you go. There it is. All right.
Thanks, guys. Good job, Jack.
Thank you.
All right. Jackson's the winner. Okay. All right. That was fun. All right. So we're getting down here to the end. Tyler, a lot of fun stuff we've talked about so far. I think it's time for us to kind of bring the ship home. Are you ready, Tyler?
Yeah.
All right. There is one more thing we have to talk about, though. And we'll get to it here in a second. Looking back at the 2022 pod year has been a blast, Tyler. Would you agree?
Yeah.
But now, let's turn our attention to the future. To the future we are going to look. As much as we enjoyed 2022, we'll be making some slight alterations to our formula going forward. First of all, as we've mentioned, we now have t-shirts. You all may have noticed our nifty matching KSQB shirts. Let's get Jackie in here. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, see how we're all matching there? Very good. You might want one. I don't know. It has the slogan, big fun in a small town, because that's kind of our thing. We ordered some extras for folks who might want to support the show. Support the show, you might say, as you just did. Yes, for the first time, Tyler and I, and producer Jack, are giving you, our loyal listeners, and today our watchers, the chance to pay us for something we would happily continue to give you for free. We are partnering with Patreon to provide you with the opportunities to subscribe to our show. You can find a link to our Patreon page in the description of this fine video. It's not there yet because I had to change our description, but I will add it in a little bit later to get to our Patreon page on our Facebook page. Also, there's a link there, or by just simply typing in Patreon and then Kansas QB in your Google search bar. We are currently offering four levels to support our progress. Our podcast. We want you to know how much we appreciate you, regardless of which one you choose. But here are the 4 levels. The first level is nothing. Just continue to listen to our podcast, because that's like the main thing. We want you to know how much we appreciate you. And really those downloads, whenever you download the show, that's what basically tells me, okay, we could keep doing this. If nobody downloaded the show, we would just do this, we'd record our memories and save them for our kids, but we wouldn't bother paying the hosting fees and whatnot. So that's option number 1. Seriously, that's enough for us to be best friends. You don't have to pay us a dime because, again, we are happy to give this to you for absolutely free. We just enjoy the interaction. Right, Tyler? Would you agree?
Yes, I can't stress that enough. We are giving you the opportunity to not pay us, and we promise we'll still continue to do this.
And
okay, but what's the second? But what's the second option?
The second option is the Bendina tier. And on patreon.com/KansasQB, you can join the Bendina tier for the low price of just $5 per month. Tyler, tell them what they get for their patronage at this level.
For $5 a month, subscribers at the Bendina tier will be welcomed into the KSQB, like the shirt says, club, and receive two private links to 2 extra shows per month, and you'll also get extra thank yous and shout outs during the show. So what does that mean by 2 extra links?
So, all right. So we're going to figure this out as we go. I mean, obviously, we will email you a link for this, but there's a way that Patreon will allow us to, you can take an RSS feed and you can put it in your player. That's way up here, probably for about most of our listeners, your mom. But we will at least email the link to you. So if you're happy listening that way, you can get that way. We're going to switch this year to doing 2 shows per month. More on that here in a little bit, per week, rather than 3. And we're just going to continue to do a third one every other week. And those 2 third podcast episodes will only be available to our subscribers. So you're not really losing anything. You're still getting all these great podcasts if you don't join up. But if you do join up and support us for $5 a month, one of the things you'll get is 2 extra podcasts if you're totally into that. Also, you'll get some shout outs. We'll say, hey, these guys support the show. Thank you. Because that's, I'm sure, important to all of you. But Tyler, that's not all.
That's the Bendina level. You said there's 4 levels.
There's 4
levels. We've gotten free, and we've got the Bendina level.
Yes.
The next level is the
level 3. The third way is to join the Tornado Rex tier on Patreon. For the ridiculously low cost of just $10 per month, fans can join the tier that is obviously modeled after everyone's favorite green Tasmanian devil knockout. The Tornado Rex tier provides the same benefits as the Bendina tier, but chips in a super soft, official KSQB shirt.
Wait, this shirt?
Yeah, that one. That's the one, Tyler. That shirt. But wait, there's more, Tyler. For the embarrassing low price of just $50 per month, subscribers can join the Grammy tier. What do you get for $50? Not much. Just a bi-weekly segment on the Kansas QB podcast. You can join the show. What a steal of a deal.
This is advertising at its finest. Every other week, you get to advertise. Hey, we had, if 2 more people do it, 400 downloads in our first episode.
We did. Now, again, would I pay $50 a month for our podcast? No.
No,
but
we won't.
No, we won't. We'll pay $16.99 a month, whatever the hosting fee is. Jewel Media is going to cover that, right? But the $50, Tyler, what I found through this building campaign we've done for St. Joe Christian School is that there are people who aren't like me. that have access to more money than I've ever seen in my life. And so if that's you and you want to drop $600 a year on us, go for it. But back to probably what's going to be our most popular tier, Tyler, the Bendina and the Tornado Rex tiers.
Yeah.
If you want one of these T-shirts, you can join the Tornado Rex tier and then cancel after, and we'll send you the shirt. Now, we will ask you, if you would, stick with that tier for 2 months. That'd be $20. These shirts, that way at least cover the cost of the shirts for us. If you just do it for 1 month, we'll still send you the shirt because, again, Jewel Media is covering the cost of the shirts. But if you want to hang in there for 2 months, that would pay for the shirt. We appreciate you. Tyler, we already have one patron on Patreon. So business is booming.
Yeah, I know. Everybody needs to be more like our friend Matt.
Yes, absolutely. So, folks, you may be wondering how we're going to have time to do 2 extra shows per month. Well, as I mentioned, we're only going to be doing 2 per week. So we're going to have a Monday and Wednesday episode come out each week, and then a Friday every other week that just goes to our Patreon subscribers. But overall, we will actually be doing then 2 fewer shows per month, which is how we can have time for it. Even though this is our off season, we're still pretty busy. But even so, with being busy, we have every intention, Tyler, of making it to our 100th episode this season. That's the plan,
Absolutely.
Tyler. We're going to
Yes,
get to
that
100.
is-
And then we'll just kind of evaluate at that point if we want to keep doing it or not, based on what kind of support we have, the people, how many downloads we have, or just how much we want to keep doing it. I'm enjoying it, Tyler. I think we try to make it to 500, but again, we'll reevaluate that at the end of the year. But I actually have, Tyler, it written out, every title for every episode that I plan to do and schedule between now and the 100th episode. I have 70. I went and added 74, and I was like, are we going to have enough material? Tyler, we absolutely have enough material to get to episode 100 without any problems. I had stuff left over. So that's the plan, Tyler. Do you think we can get there?
Challenge accepted.
Well, folks, that does it for things we remember. And I know it was really long, but as we reach June in the podcast calendar of life, we are just thrilled that we remembered something. Now, before we end the podcast, producer Jack, this is your opportunity. He had a pencil, he had a paper, and this entire time, he's been writing down all of the errors and mistakes that we made on the show. Producer Jack, what did we get wrong?
I could only think of one.
Seems right.
You hit the wrong button.
What? Never. I never hit the wrong button. I guess I
Yes,
did do
you
that one.
did.
All right. Okay. Very good. Okay. Thank you, producer Jack, for that. Kansas QB is a production of the Jewel Media Podcasting Network. And before we go, we want to thank Tracy of Tracy Lindley Voiceovers for the way too professional audio. And of course, I would like to thank Tyler for clearing time in his busy schedule to welcome everybody back to season 2 of the Kansas QB podcast. Also, Mike Hubble, Darth Ted, producer Jack, also Hallie and her new segment, Hallie's Hang Up, Sheridan,
Yes.
her 66 with Sheridan, and also Matt Pally.
Everybody that followed along, and everybody that followed along today. John Darenfeld Jr. stuck around for pretty much all of it. I think he's still here. Carmen Van Houten was here for all of it, commenting on and off. Of course, Ben winning the T-shirt. Brett Miner's been commenting back and forth. So, guys, thanks for following along. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, that's enough of that. For Tyler, I'm Steve, and this will not be our last show. We are confident that we will be doing this on into the future. So instead of predicting the end of the show, I will simply wish you big fun in your small town. And Tyler, this is where
I know you had it written on there, something witty, something.
And you took
and I typed a few, and then I just said, you know what? I like how you're signing these off. We're gonna have to redo this so we end exactly with that.
Yeah, and Tyler, I just
Try
realized
it again.
I had this great ticker that I produced just for the show, and I never had it on. And I also forgot to have the ending graphic made. So we're just gonna just unceremoniously end this show by hitting this button. So long, everybody.